Hi, this is Michael P. Coleman, Content Director for Brother Be Well. Thanking you for checking out this series, this trauma and healing series brought to you by Blue Shield of California's Blue Sky Initiative. You mentioned your husband. I can't wait to meet him. I'm looking forward to that as well. You mentioned he's in the technology field. That's a perfect inroad to my next question. I'm wondering what role technology can or should play in developing those personal support networks. And very specifically, I'm thinking about social media, the ubiquitousness or pervasiveness of mobile devices. We've always got usually something in our pocket, and I would think there's a pro and a con to that, but maybe not. So I want to throw it to you. What role can technology play in helping us establish or grow those personal support networks?
Technology is amazing. It's allowing us the opportunity to have this conversation. I'm in my home, you are at home. We get to people's homes this way. We get to share a little bit of our experiences about what we love, and so very thankful that people open their own space for us to come to their lives this way. But at the same time, there is so much misinformation. There is so much uh, messages that are not correct, and also, it's a rabbit hole. Like sometimes you get caught up into TikToking for 2 3 hours, and then the next thing you know, there's something telling you, "Hey, stop! You've been scrolling for a long time," and we have become blinded to all of those things. And the time that we could be spending on self care and having peace and silence, because peace and silence and solitude is something that is very important, we dedicate to empty messages that come through technology.
So true. So we got to be careful about it. It's
Absolutely. I think that it's amazing that we have it. It's amazing to have those distractions, but to know how much time I dedicate to that and what I allow to come to my space.
really, really love it. Powerful message. Thanks a lot, Julio. We talked about family just a little bit, and I'm wondering about the viewer or the listener right now who might want to either engage or to maintain a connection with a family member, but he's struggling with communication with that person. So I'm wondering, from your perspective, you're an integrated behavioral health specialist. How can we strengthen communication with those family members when it might not be as natural or as easy as we want it to be, and thereby strengthening the relationships themselves? How do we do that?
I think it's understanding what we bring to the table and what the other person can bring to the table. Unfortunately, sometimes we have unrealistic expectations for family members, that we think that because somebody is my mother, my father, an uncle, that there's this unconditional support, or we hold on to things that happened 15, 20 years ago. And the reality is to be able to have that communication where you say, hey, I want you in my life, but there's this part that I don't really like, but you're important and I want you to be there. But these are my boundaries, these are my limits. And with the openness to accept that, just as I am not the same person that I was 20 years ago, most likely all those people are not either. And to have the openness to see, like, you know um, my mother may have done things that I didn't agree with, but she made the best decision with the tools and the knowledge that she had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. And she's a different person now, just like I am. So having that communication where I say, hey, you know what, I love you. Like one of my cousins, like, I love you, but I can only spend a few hours with you because after that, I start going crazy and I'm just like, I had too much, right? There's too much history that I want to have this relation, but with measure.
So you just reminded me, Julio, I had a pretty recent conversation with my biological brother, the only one I've got. And he launched down a road and he said, Michael, you this and you that. And I know you will say this and I know you will think that. And the honest truth, Julio, was that the person he was describing, years ago, decades ago, he was 100% right. But I'm not that same person anymore. And it just illustrated for me that there had been some growth and evolution that he wasn't aware of. So when I said to him, that's an old version of me, I used that old software. I said, that's like Michael maybe 3.0, and this is Michael 5.0 you're dealing with. So you would have been right in 2005, but in 2022, that's not who I am. And it was very disarming for him. He didn't know where to go from that. And I said, I don't know how to help you. You've described an older version of me. So I like what you had to say about getting to know, knowing where the person is, and also I don't think you used the word grace, giving someone a little grace. They did the best they could in that moment. They made the best decision they could make. They may have said some things that didn't go over all that well, but they did the best they could in that moment. And then kind of moving on, and maybe they have a place in that personal support network, and maybe not. And either's okay. Either's okay.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's very important with that I always say is that forgiveness is one of the most amazing things in my life. But forgiveness doesn't mean that I want those people in my life. I can acknowledge their growth, I can acknowledge the change, but I also can acknowledge my pain and my history and say, there is the forgiveness. I wish all the best for you, and I hope that you find peace and love and everything beautiful, but not next to me.
Love it, dude. Absolutely love that. Really appreciate it. Let me tell you about you. I'm sure already know this, but the American Psychological Association has a few steps, things that we should do if we're interested in building or strengthening our personal support networks. I'm very happy to say that most of them we've touched on today. Reaching out to family and friends, using technology in moderation, connecting with people who share your interests, one looking for peer support groups. So finding, where you're at. There's a great peer support group, a couple of them actually, in partnership with the Hawk Institute that we at Brother Be Well. We've established these partnerships about maybe 6 months ago or so. We got an adult peer support group where men of color come together once a month, and we're like-minded individuals. We have similar challenges, just navigating this world, and it's great once a month to just sit back and relax and exhale and talk about what's going on. Also asking for help, and we've touched on that a little bit. Just having being brave enough and vulnerable enough to ask for help. I'm wondering, you're an integrated behavioral health specialist. We're thankful to have somebody like you, and specifically you, on this particular in on this conversation. I'm wondering if you can touch on any of those that might kind of jump out for you, or
Yeah, I
you
think
can
that
even add to that.
absolutely. I think that it's very important to look at a list of different tools and pick the ones that work for you, right? Like, for instance, for me, it's very important to cook myself a meal like on regular basis and share that meal with somebody. Sometimes I even like bake cookies and take them to work so I can build on that communication with other people, not just work, but also to sharing a little bit about who I am, knowing all the things that are healthy for you, and also making a list of the things that you don't like and you don't want in your life anymore. I think that that is something that is very important. Like when you're feeling down, when you're feeling anxious, like taking a moment of solitude. Like sometimes I just like turn the lights off in my house, sit down with myself, and I'm like, why am I feeling this way? What happened today? Who did I interact with today that made me feel the way I do? And sometimes I have like this moment like, wow, I was with this person that not necessarily is not the healthiest one in my life. They're a little toxic. And then I felt uncomfortable for the rest of the day. So now I know that the next time I see that person, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm not in the best space to be sharing space right now. It was good to see you, and maybe we can get together some other time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, even the people we love and like, there's friends that there's moments I don't want to share space with them because I know that there's a particular thing about them that I don't have the peace to deal with today. I also know that I want the people in my life to be able to tell me today is not the time for you because I can't. Because I also come with things.
I didn't mean to step on you there. I really that those are some powerful words, and I think among the most powerful things you've ever said, certainly today, Julio, you made a distinction between the people you love and the people you like, and I think there's a difference. There's a
Oh,
difference there.
absolutely.
Absolutely, and some people, they conflate those two, but there's yeah, I can compartmentalize people really, really well that way, and maybe that process would help others form that personal support network, that group of people that you're going to really lean on. Julio, we're almost out of time. I can't let you get away from us. I've got a little segment. I may add this to future conversations with you. I like the alliteration of it, Julio's homework. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, what's the number one? I know, right? What's the number one takeaway from today's talk? Give us all a little bit of homework for building or strengthening our own support circles.
The first part of the homework will be to sit down with yourself in a quiet space to get to know yourself. You cannot build a good relationship with anybody if you don't have it with yourself. I had to get to know who I am, what makes me feel the way I do, the things I don't like about myself, and to be aware that there are things that people don't like about me. And once I'm comfortable with that, and to say, all these things make me the beautiful person that I am with all the imperfections I have. So then I can look at the people in my life and say, do they have a space to where I am? Sometimes we think that people are permanent in our lives. We're all temporary. We all have stages. You know, the creator in the infinite wisdom has spring, summer, fall, and winter. Things sometimes die, but there's other things that come and grow beautifully out of those things that we let go. So we have to recognize that people are temporary, just like we are, and relations don't have to be permanent. So look at the relationships that you have that don't induce growth, leave them aside.
Powerful, powerful homework, if you will, Julio. Before I let you go, I got to tell you, I've never said this to you before. You're a part of my personal support network. You don't know it. Sometimes I reach out to you just because every conversation I have, I walk away feeling encouraged and emboldened. So I want to thank you for your personal friendship and to your service to Brother Be Well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. And you're a beautiful person. You're part of my family. And I don't think I ever told you this, but the gifts that you bring, not just to me, but the work that you do for Brother Be Well and the community is highly appreciated. And I admire it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate those words, and I appreciate you. Julio Cruz, integrated behavioral health expert, professional, Brother Be Well clinical advisor, and my good friend. Thank you, sir. See you next time. I want to thank our sponsor for this particular video series, Blue Shield of California, and specifically their Blue Sky Initiative. You can read all about it at this website, bluesky.blueshieldca.com. That's bluesky.blueshieldca.com. We want to thank them for their support. I also want to thank you for checking out this video. And there's another website I got to tell you about, our own website, brotherbewell.com. If you like this particular video, you can check out this video or any one of a number of them here on this platform on a variety of behavioral health topics. You can find videos just like this one, audio podcasts, print pieces, compelling personal stories. It's all at brotherbewell.com. We're a membership supported service. So if you can join us as a member, we'd love that. But if you want to start out a little more slowly, give us your email address and you can sign up for our blog and get notifications on videos just like this one when they go live. Check it all out at brotherbewell.com. My name again, Michael P. Coleman. I'm content director for Brother Be Well. It's one of the great honors of my life and one of the highlights of my career to be that for you. We're trying to bring you everything you need to live a better life and be healthy. I want to ask you to do two things for me, if you would. Take great care of yourself. Do that for me. And then also reach out to somebody else. Help take care of somebody else too. Until next time, bye bye and God bless.